I have to make welcome remarks. I just completed this manuscript, so I have to say something to you. Anyway, good afternoon, everyone. The United Nations University is honored to participate in this summit as co-host and venue partner. At the heart of this forum lies simple yet powerful truth: connection, innovation, collaboration. These are not just words. They are essential drivers of global progress, especially when they bring together change makers, scientists, policymakers, and corporate leaders united in the effort to build a world that is both sustainable and thriving. We are facing serious challenges. They are complex and they are profound. And for that very reason, we demand collective action. We cannot afford to give in. We must continue to fight, not with fear, but with hope, with science, and with shared values or purpose. To keep building, to keep creating the future that is sustainable for all. But let us be honest, the work ahead is not evenly distributed. There are real divides between nations, within societies, and between urban and rural communities. These gaps must not be overlooked. It is an urgent task to reconnect, to bridge divides, to build resilience and opportunity in every corner of the world. Today, we explore the idea of sustainable cities, cities where people from all backgrounds can live in a harmony with nature and enjoy lives of dignity, well-being, and opportunity. At the United Nations University, our mission is to bridge the worlds of research, policy, and practice, turning knowledge into action for sustainable development. We know that technological innovation alone is not enough. What we need is systematic transformation that touches everyday life. We envision self-sufficient and resilient communities, powered by clean energy, rooted in regenerative production, driven by circular economies, and enriched inclusive social and cultural fabrics. The structure of the summit, Connect, Scan, Focus, Act, reflects the very journey we must take together, from connecting across disciplines and sectors to scanning emerging ideas and diverse perspectives, to focusing on scalable, impactful solutions, and finally, acting decisively. It is more than a framework for the summit. It is a blueprint for our shared future, urban and rural alike. This is more the Sustainable Development Goals, the Paris Agreement, and coming Montreal Global Biodiversity Framework offer crucial direction. But it is in gatherings like this where sectors, disciplines, and voices unite, and we build the real-world strategies to meet those ambitions. On behalf of the United Nations University, I look forward to deepening the collaboration, exchanging bold ideas, and building the partnership that will carry today's conversations into tomorrow's actions and result. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shirahase-san. We are very honored to receive your greetings. Can you go to the... So we have actually greetings from Koike-san, which is another great honor. She sent this telegram. I asked Masako-san to help me reading it, but I can maybe read it myself. Sustainable City Summit Vol 3 の開催を心より喜び申し上げます。Sushi Tech Tokyo 2025年のパートナーイベントである本会の正会並びに非団体の今後ますますのご発展と本日の集まりの皆様のご活躍、ご健康を記念いたします。Maybe I didn't read everything right, but she wishes us great success with our summit, and she wishes that our endeavors will bear fruitful results. So now I come to my own framing of this whole summit. Why are we doing it? And I need the slides. I have only 5 minutes. Yeah, so we are finally here. It's May 9th. Yesterday it was May 8th, and May 8th, I'm German, is for Germans a very big day because it was the end of the Second World War. And my father was actually born only 1 month after the end of the war. And out of the ruins, a beautiful, prosperous country like Germany emerged. And now we're in the 21st century, and we are facing another great challenges. Is it possible to full screen? Full screen? Here. The full screen mode?
There's a lot of things that you have open.
Can you click it? Good. Very good. And then the next slide, please. Yeah, of course, we cannot do these kind of things without sponsors. So I want to say thank you especially to GPSS. They have been also sponsoring our previous summit. We are partners with the Earthshot Prize, Prince William's initiative. Today we host at UNU. We have Keio University here. And we had been doing the previous summits with OIST, Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology. PDIE's core vision is basically scaling innovation from local to global markets. We empower innovators to address environmental challenges, and we are building a collaborative ecosystem of purpose-driven leaders. Our track record, we are hosting in Japan the Climate Launchpad, which is an early stage competition. We are the #1 Earthshot Prize nominator, so we have 7 finalists and 2 winners in the first 4 years. Every year, the summit is going to a different continent. Last time it was actually in South Africa, so I went to South Africa. Yeah, these are a few of our partners. We have a global network and very good access, and we all try always to work with the best people. And that's also one reason why it might make sense for people coming to join our ecosystem in order to accelerate and scale innovations and what people are working on. So we have heard this already in Shida Hasasan's speech. I call this a VUCA world. Does everybody know what VUCA means? Volatile, uncertain, complex, ambiguous. It's a term from military. We have to stay calm in the storm. We have geopolitical tensions. We have rise of artificial intelligence, shift of political systems to autocracy, which is even happening in Europe right now. And we have the climate and biodiversity crisis. We have a depletion of resources. Where do we go? So we have three divides, and Shida Hassan also addressed these divides. We have the environmental divide, we have the rich and poor divide, the social divide, and we have a cultural, spiritual divide. We live in a fragmented world. And how can we go through these times? We have to connect deeper to ourselves. And that's why today we start actually with a meditation and with connecting to ourselves with Shokei Matsumoto, who is already preparing. So the objectives of our summit is basically bringing together change makers from different disciplines, from policymakers, investors, corporations, and bring together this ecosystem to rethink, to reimagine the future of cities. In cities, we have so many different systems, and also the relation between rural and urban areas. Some facts on global cities. It's supposed that by 2045, we will have 7 billion people living in cities. We have a number of cities with more than 10 million people. Tokyo is one of these cities. 33% of energy consumption is 80%, percentage of global greenhouse gas emission, 80%. Global waste production by cities, 2.01 billion tons. It's hard to imagine that, but if you put it on a big pile, it might be a huge mountain. And air quality is also one big issue. So socio-technical systems in cities. This is mobility, energy, waste, water, air quality, and food systems. And especially in Japan, we are facing the problem of declining population, and we have large disparities between urban and rural areas. So what are the key questions we want to address also in this summit and going forward? How will humans live in greater harmony with nature? How will we cope with challenges of climate change and create a zero-emission economy? How will we create a human society with happiness, health, and well-being? How can rural areas be revitalized in the post-COVID era? And how can we produce energy, food, and jobs in a self-sufficient and sustainable way? How can we live in a 100% circular way? So these topics throughout the next 2 days, we will address one by the other. This is our speaker lineup today. And the next speaker will be Shokei Matsumoto. Then we have Masa Inakage from Keio University, Lorenz Grandertz speaking about the current state of circular cities. Diana Popic is a real estate developer and investor, and she will speak about her projects in sustainable city development. Joe McDonald is an architect, and he's a specialist of architecture and energy. He will introduce a new concept in energy, and Kurata-san has actually a renewable energy company and is doing great work in rural areas. Then we have startup pitch, 5 startups actually, because we have one more. I went to Sushi Tech Tokyo and I found one very interesting one. They create a software for cities. And we have a feedback session by 2 venture capitalists. And then we have, and this is all what we call scan. We scan, we take up after we connect. And the connection session, this comes now. So be prepared. We can go over the second day. Yeah, connect, scan, focus, act. It means first connect to self, also connect to the others. And on the second day, we go more specifically in the topics. Tomorrow is from 9:30 to 12:30. Today is until 7:30. Great. Let's co-create a better tomorrow. And I may now ask Shokei Matsumoto to come to the stage. He will do an interesting talk about being a good ancestor, having a clean mind, and then we will actually do a short meditation. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Shokei Matsumoto, Pure Land Buddhist in Japanese, 浄土真宗の僧侶です。I'm very much deeply honored to be opening this sustainable city summit today, and I'm very grateful for this opportunity to set a tone for what I hope will be a truly meaningful gathering. Before we dive into the technical discussions and innovative solutions that we'll fill out today, I'd like to invite us all to take a step back and consider the deeper purpose that brings us together. Why are we here today? What are we truly trying to create? And for whom? Let me begin with an exercise, kind of imaginative meditation. Close your eyes if you're okay for a moment. If you're comfortable doing so. First, visualize a small circle in the center. This circle represents us, the 8 billion people alive today. Very small circle. Now, place another circle below the first, about 10 times larger. This one represents the 100 billion people who lived in the past 50,000 years. All our ancestors. Lastly, place one more circle above the first, about 1,000 times larger. This represents the 7 trillion people who will be born in the next 50,000 years, all our future descendants. In between these vast multitudes, we, the people living today, may look like a mere trifle, very small one. And yet, we are indispensable. We are the crucial link between past and future. We are the ancestors for tomorrow. Okay? Open your eyes. Thank you for collaboration. So, this visualization comes from social philosopher Roman Krutznarik, who is a very good friend of mine. The author, The Good Ancestor, which I had the privilege of translating into Japanese. So it's available in Japanese as well. Its core question, how can we become good ancestors for the future generation, is precisely what we should be asking ourselves as we design the city of the future today. So, today we find ourselves at a critical juncture in human history, facing particularly three interconnected crises that demand a profound shift in our consciousness. First, of course, the climate crisis is challenging how we relate to nature. The latest global risk reports from WON show that climate-related threats dominate the top concerns for the next decades. This is not just an environmental issue. It's a crisis of relationship between humans and the nature world, right? And second, the AI revolution, as Christian also mentioned, is transforming how we relate to technology. As machines become increasingly capable of tasks we once thought uniquely to human, we are forced to reconsider what it means to be human in the first place. Third, geopolitical tensions continue to threaten peace and stability, revealing the ongoing crisis in how we relate to each other among human beings across differences, right? What connects these three crises? What do you think is the commonality across these crises? In my observation, they all stem from what I call supremacy thinking. The belief that humans are superior to nature, that certain technologies should dominate human values, or that some human groups should dominate others. This supremacy mindset has led us to the precipice where we now stand. These crises are not just testing our technological ingenuity. They are testing our capacity to be good ancestors. In this January, 4 months ago, this year, I had a fascinating experience in Davos at the World Economic Forum annual meeting. Beyond the main conference sessions, I was kind of secretly invited to a special gathering called the Climate and Nature Retreat, which sounds not that, conspiracy something. Yeah, it's not a special one, but still, the retreat was held in the high Swiss Alps, kind of secretly. A diverse group of leaders engaged in an unusual exercise. After discussing which stakeholders should be at the table for climate discussions, we were asked to consider non-human stakeholders as well, to speak from the perspective of a tree or a river or future generations, invisible entities, right? So I myself chose to speak as one of the alpine trees visible from the window. Taking on that perspective shifted the entire course of the conversation. It wasn't just an imaginative exercise. It represented a profound shift happening in global leadership circles. The concept of multi-stakeholder capitalism is expanding to include non-human stakeholders in decision-making process, which is very interesting. This may sound radical, but it's actually a return to wisdom that many cultures have always known. In Japan, we have a long tradition of seeing life and spirit in all living things, even all things. Mountains, rivers, trees, and even human. And also human-made objects as well. So this animistic worldview is gaining renewed attention globally as we could feed these systems. As we grapple with the limitation of human-centric thinking. So AI serves as another kind of mirror, which I'm really interested in these days, reflecting our values. The large language models that power today's AI system are trained on human data and thus reflect human priorities and biases. But what if we could feed these systems data from all beings, not only from human beings? What kind of intelligence might emerge? It should be very exciting. So these questions lead us to a fundamental concept in Buddhist philosophy, interbeing, or engi, ご縁の縁に起こるで縁起と言います。In Japanese. This is the understanding that nothing exists independently. Everything is interconnected in a vast web of relationship. A truly sustainable city isn't just a collection of energy-efficient buildings and smart infrastructure. It's a living ecosystem that recognizes and honors these interconnections between humans and natures, between past and future, between the visible and invisible dimensions of existence. To foster these interconnections, we need what Buddhist practice calls clean and clear mind, a state of awareness free from the distortions of the ego, greed, and attachment. This clarity allows us to see beyond our immediate self-interest to the broader web of relationships that sustains us. So, how can we become good ancestors? Through my conversations with leaders across fields, for my contribution to the United Nations Development Program. So I contributed an article to UNDP's Signal Spotlight 2024. In this article, I introduced the 3 essential virtues. First, humility. We must be humble enough to admit we don't know the future. What we can do for the future generation is to leave more options for them to choose from. They, not us, are the ones who will decide their future, right? Sustainable cities should be adaptable and open-ended, not monuments to our current assumptions. Second virtue, patience. In nature, there is no success or failure. These emerge only when we judge things. We must not rush for immediate results, but keep challenging ourselves with patience. As I like to say, be wise enough to wait to see flowers bloom. City planning often operates on cycle of decades. not quarters. We need this longer time frame in all our thinking. The last one, thirdly, open-mindedness. We must observe people and things as they are, without immediately judging good or bad. With a feeling of awe, we can understand that the world we live in is full of wonder. This openness to what it allows truly innovative solutions to emerge. These virtues don't come naturally in our fast-paced, optimization-obsessed culture. They require cultivation, which is where spiritual practices like meditation become invaluable. A clear mind doesn't just happen, it's the result of consistent practice. In Buddhist tradition, I want to introduce this. There's a concept called muise. In Japanese, 恐れのない伏せ、muise です。The gift of fearlessness or fearlessness giving. While material gifts and knowledge sharing are important, removing fear from others may be the greatest gift we can offer. Many of today's crisis stems from fear. Yes, so the gathering of leaders, world leaders, is actually full of fear because they are have the greatest fear among people, actually. So this connects to an insight from a renowned Japanese scholar of ancient characters, Shirakawa Shizuka sensei. He noted that his favorite character was Yu, asobi. Do you know the character Chinese asobu? Meaning play. In its original form, this character depicted a person holding a banner with ancestral spirits. 遊ぶの漢字のこの型っていうところですね。Venturing into unknown territory with this banner, with ancestors. The character suggests that with the protection of ancestors, we can safely explore the unknown. So, sustainable cities need both reverence for the past and courage to explore the future. As futurist monk, I work with many business leaders to help them achieve the clarity needed for their balance using voice analysis, meditation, and dialogue to cultivate their awareness. All right. So, let me conclude by having a very short, simple sort of meditation with ancestors. So please remind the three circles I introduced at the beginning. All right. So let's begin by finding a comfortable position on your seat. And you may close your eyes if you wish, or simply lower your gaze. Take a deep breath in and slowly exhale. Allow your body to settle into your chair, feeling the support beneath you. Right? So now, in your mind's eye, imagine that three circles again. First, in the center, a small circle. This represents us, the 8 billion people alive today. Next, to its below, visualize a second circle about 10 times larger. This represents the 100 billion people who lived in the past 50,000 years, all our ancestors. Finally, to its above, imagine a third circle, about 1,000 times larger. This represents the 7 trillion people who will be born in the next 50,000 years, all our descendants. Take a moment to hold this image in your awareness. We are the small circle in the middle. Small, but the crucial link between past and future. So, feel the continuity of human existence flowing through these circles. Although we may seem small in this vast timeline, our actions today ripple through generations. Now, direct your attention to the circle of ancestors in the below. In silence, feel the connection with those who came before us, not just your family ancestors, but all who contributed to the world we inherited. I use the word ancestor in a broader meaning. It's not just about family or blood relationship, but for example, for me, as a Buddhist, Buddha, Shakyamuni Buddha, is my very big, good ancestor. So, like this, every one of us has its own relationship with our, unique ancestral lineage. During feeling the connection with your ancestors, let me share my chanting for just a minute. So listening to my chanting, you feel connection with your ancestors. Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu. Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu. Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu. Namu Amidabu, 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 Namu Amidabu. Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu, Namu Amidabu. Namu Amidabu Tsu, Namu Amidabu. 万日苦毒平等性一切同発菩提心往生安楽を。All right. So at the end of this meditation, shift your awareness to the circle of future generations, the circle above, those who will inherit the cities and communities we are designing today. As you breathe calmly, consider this question. How can we become good ancestors for future generations? How can we become good ancestors for the future generations? What wisdom, what values, what kind of world do you wish to pass on? Imagine the eyes of future generations looking back at us from the year 2125, 100 years later from now. What would they hope we did today? Let this question rest in your awareness, just for 30 seconds. How can we become good ancestors for the future generation? The clear mind we cultivate through practices like this helps us see beyond our immediate concerns, beyond supremacy thinking, beyond separation, toward a vision of sustainable cities that honor our ancestors and serve our descendants. Slowly, gently, begin to bring your awareness back to this room, to your body sitting here, right? When you're ready, you may open your eyes. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your cooperation. I hope this brief meditation has helped connect you more deeply with your purpose for being here today. As we continue with the summit, may we carry this expanded awareness with us, designing not just for ourselves, but as good ancestors for generations to come. Thank you so much.
Now we are kind of grounded and a little bit quiet, and we can use now about 5 to 10 minutes and maybe speak to your neighbor, and we can also grab a tea at the end of the room, and we can maybe talk just a little bit about what it means for us to be here and how to do this kind of being a good ancestor. We are very happy to have Shoke-san today here. I actually met him this year in January in Davos. And since then, we have been, no, actually last year. So we have been in touch, and it had been my deep intention also preparing the summit. I was speaking to Kurata-san from GPSS, and he also said, why don't we do something special and start in a different way than usually all these tech meetings are starting, so that now we have maybe a different grounding and a different intention. So yeah, let's just use a little bit of space and have a short break.
By embedding cutting-edge technology, we also say smart cities. Or now we are talking about sustainable cities to entertain people, like in Singapore. And by the way, all of these photos are from Singapore. How can we make people entertained? And this boils down to how do we design magnet to attract people. Cities are defined as a magnet or attractor of people. So dream-driven design goes a little bit further. As Shoukei-san already mentioned, it's not us human alone on this planet. We have very important living species ecosystem. We also have devised a new genre of machines. And some people call this physical AI, a combination of machine intelligence with physical artifacts, like robots. So what if, as Shoukei-san mentioned, what if we can talk to plants or trees? What if robots can also be part of the nature? And this kind of a bold what if question is very important when we don't want our future as a small incremental improvement of what we have today. We want to have a radically different and hopefully better future society. And that is why we need to use the power of dreaming. And also daydreaming used to be something that we should avoid, but neuroscientists identified daydreaming is extremely important for innovation. So if you are corporate employers, you should have your employees daydream. This is a wonderful artwork by Salvador Dali. He also mentioned that this painting is an actual photograph of his dream. So you can see many artists are interested in this topic of what is it about dreaming? And also, Paul McCartney composed yesterday the famous music while he was asleep. So there are many facts and evidences that dreaming and also daydreaming is very powerful and important. How does this work? So Walt Disney also says, if you can dream it, you can do it. He envisioned to take his family to have a wonderful, enjoyable day, a place somewhere, and that became Disneyland. Shoukei-san mentioned, what's the difference between machine intelligence and us human? I believe the differentiator is the power of imagination. Human, us, we can imagine. Einstein mentioned logic can take us from point A to point B. Imagination can take everywhere, is what Einstein said. In fact, on the left-hand side, a poster of a feature film, 2001: Space Odyssey, in 1968. It's 1968. It's an artist envisioning 2001, quite far away into the future, man on the outer planet holding something interesting. In 1968, computers were massive. Many refrigerator size of things are needed. I'm holding a similar thing, and you also own them. Imagination can invent something that we wish to have. So this dreaming of future is one important element. Also, Shoukei-san mentioned, how do we connect the wisdom from the past? So by combining our power of imagination of dreaming about our desirable futures with all these ancestors of knowledge gained, wisdom gained, combined so that we can know exactly what kind of action we should take today. the small circle, according to Shokei-san. So Keio Star envisions to be a center of imagination and creativity, but also very serious about tackling the sustainable problems of today. One university, one center cannot achieve anything. We need many, many connected dots of partners. We invite you, hopefully, to take part with us to the journey of dreaming a better future. Through one is, as a university, as an academic platform, we want to have a learning hub around sustainability, and we call this S School. We also want to take what kind of actions we should take so that it will navigate us to a better future. One thing we know is the SDGs expire in 2030. We need to devise something beyond SDGs. To change the society for the better, many creative activities need to take place. And I know this summit also includes lots of startup ideas. Those fresh, interesting, creative-minded units of people can bring in new ideas to the table. And that's what Keio Star is about. To summarize, we need dreamer who can envision the future. We need thinker who knows about wisdom of the past. We need a realist who can take action today in meaningful and effective way. We are combining the next generation society with physical reality of this kind of physical artifacts and environment, but we also couple this with digital platform of technology called digital twin. I also think each one of us have fantasizing ideas of dreaming. So these, again, the middle triangle, plus, as Shokei-san mentioned, we are not alone on this planet. Human, we are important because we are human, but we are ecosystem partner of nature, a bigger ecosystem. Human has created another category, machines, including physical AI. How do we combine this as a whole big ecosystem? These are challenging, unexplored area that needs to be considered and presented to take action that we can get to a place one in the future. So I hope the summit will connect the dots of us. Please think also that dream isn't rather than incremental improvement of what we have today. Thank you very much.
So, thank you for dream design and future perspectives, and also introducing about Keio Star, the new center. The next speaker will go into the global perspectives. How do we actually build sustainable cities? And is speaking about how she actually, Diana Popic is here. She flew in from Colorado. Yes. And she is working on very interesting new structures with new materials. She has a hotel project and also 2 city projects, if I'm not mistaken. So the floor is yours, Diana.
Hello, everyone. Really grateful and happy to be here with you today. I can definitely feel a great energy. And I believe that we all here today have something in common. And what we have in common here today is that we love this planet. We love where we where we're living, and we want to make this place better. Well, that's same for me and for my group of team members, investors, architects, family, and friends. So my background is in real estate finance, but 7 years ago, I decided to go and develop sustainable projects. It all started with a project in Tulum that I'm going to feature here today. And that expanded to building sustainable cities. So Perla V's vision is to not only transform certain regions and area into the luxury hotels, but also truly change the regions and create the new stories. So I was very careful listening to the prior speakers, and we all shared different things in common, like bringing, our ancestors and also thinking about the indigenous people. So it's important to us when we come to the region that we are considering that. This land that we're showcasing here, and this was made by AI, is the region in state of Colorado where I live. And I'm currently working with the local government in the region that's called Aerotropolis. Okay, it's covering around 16,000 acres. The local governments have already designated this area for mostly industrial, like tech, but also for the sustainable development projects. This is that particular region. It's around the Denver International Airport. And currently, we are working with multiple different municipalities. As you can see, one of them is Commerce City, Adams County, and such. The challenges that we are facing as we are going into the region is that not everyone aligns with our projects and with our visions. Municipalities' goals and plans do not align also with the current government administration or the mayor administration. These are the biggest challenges that we are facing today. We all, as I said, have one thing in common. It's to build the better future and these great cities. But we can't do that if we are just having all these closed doors that we're facing here from our local and federal governments. I was surprised that, since we're working internationally, when I found out that United States is one of the most challenging regions to work in with on this scale. These are some of the designs that we are working around, our architect and design team. Our goal is to create that immersive experience and to build where we really can change and make that radical renaissance change that we've been talking about. So not taking an existing cities, because it's very challenging to make them sustainable. When we say we're sustainable, we have to be really careful how we are using that word. It's not just sustainable to make it sound better or nicer, but really, what is it sustainable that we are applying in existing cities? That's what's Perla V's mission. It's different. We really want to start from beginning. Take a region that's a raw land and truly establish these new communities, new cities, and showcase this for these generations to come. What it's important when we come to these regions is that we take lands, like this is one of our additional land. We gave it a name, Adria City. This is the actual land that is located in the Balkans. I was born in former Yugoslavia. I played in this region as a little girl. So I'm going back now with all of this passions, knowledge, and my team, the global team, to establish and build something that not only we need, our future generations, and the whole entire ecosystem. These are additional sites that we have. But before I move there, I want to talk about the experiences I have with the local governments. When we go into regions like this, we don't go to just cities. We go directly to the top. We go and talk to the prime minister and to other ministers, across energy and tourism. And we meet with them and make sure that also when they align their goals with our goals and that they would be agreeing to expropriation. Because when you go into the region in order to locate a site like this one, 250 square kilometers, you need governments to align. The challenges that we are facing in the regions like this is that the government is changing every couple years. So which means if we talk to them at the beginning of administration or their term, the administration's term, that means we have to we have 2 years pretty much to build something. That's not possible. And in projects like this is something that's a lifelong project. To build the true sustainable city that this world needs, an example that we can multiply and apply to different regions, we need at least a decade. So these are the challenges that we're facing with the local governments. Particularly in this region, we got a very good response. We already are in furthermore talks about what are the next steps of moving forward. This is another smaller region that we have here, and this is where we have started developing and building our hotel luxury project. It's in Mexico, Yucatan region, right below Cancun. Many of you are familiar with that, and the old city of Tulum. Little facts about this region. Tulum was the ancient Mayans' only coastal city. It's extremely beautiful. And our hotel site is located very close, 500 meters from the Siancán Biosphere Reserve, which is just full of, this beautiful, luscious, flora and fauna, and it's just great area inside. Also in Tulum, most of the hotels that are developed there are sustainable hotels. So we have close to 70%, and it's just great place for the new architects and people who want to get involved more in sustainability in building. It's a great place for them to explore and see those already existing projects. When we go in the region, it's very important that we also do a due diligence. One of the processes, it's also comparable, seeing, okay, how much is the land worth? This is something that's important for us to have. So that's showing this for you today. How's that also being done? Entitlements and permitting. Before we commit to the region and we buy the land and we secure the land, we go and meet directly with municipalities. And particularly in these areas, we didn't have to meet with the prime minister because it's a smaller project, but we get documents such as these. Okay, the phases of development that we're taking, it's as I mentioned earlier, the land acquisition, permitting, and then it goes into infrastructure, landscaping, construction, and which additionally requires the sub costs. And we're kind of phasing out of into phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and phase 5 here. the importance of creating this relationship with government is once again crucial, but the relationship to also establish relationship with the local communities is also very important to us. Perlavi, it's not just a development company, we also have a foundation. And it's very important for us when we go into region that we also create a social impact. And in this region particularly, we're supporting the orphanages and we are advocating for human trafficking. An organization like ours, and we're teaming up with local organizations working with the Mexican government, particularly a congresswoman in this case. Yes. So this is, additionally the process that we take, but I will be wrapping up here. It's important to understand that we're going into this, creating a new renaissance on mycelium. All of our projects are designed around the mushrooms, and we're using biomimicry, the sacred geometry. This is our Tulum site. This is our Tulum Hotel project. It's important for us to blend with the nature. We're using the Mayans hubs as also one of the inspirations. And then we go and use the same designs for our projects in Dubai and also the projects in state of Colorado. So thank you very much. And this is just the last slides of our team, our architects, our partners, and thank you very much.
So we have foreseen time for a Q&A now, which we can address questions to Masa-san and Diana. And because we are already running over time, I would say we have each one question to Masa and one question to Diana. Who has a question? Okay. Can somebody bring the microphone to the handheld microphone? Or you do it, or you just come here maybe and
It's fine.
Yeah.
Diana, thank you very much for reaching. I love the way you've integrated nature with the outside environment. I guess it looks amazing, but what do you think would be the different qualities that a future land development would have that allow it to better either be regenerative or integrate into the surrounding environment, nature, humans, everything else, in a way that's different from previous generations of developments?
That's a great question, and I wish I had more time because what I've showed you today is just like a little part of what it takes to truly build a city. So it's not just the buildings, but how that city will be actually living and striving and giving an examples and changes have to go through, schooling, education, healthcare. And that's what Perlavi brings too. We're bringing a team of scientists, a team of educators, artificial intelligence. And so we teach the future generations and these generations, transitioning them to stop the heavy consumption and start sustainability within themselves, and then starting from their households and then, spreading that out. So, and then multiplying that and creating this beautiful ecosystem. So I hope that answered the question.
Kind of, yeah, you've raised the fact there's a social element to it.
Yeah,
which is
yes, but
interesting.
when it comes to the land, I think it's important that we start with the raw land, which I've mentioned earlier, and showcase something that has not been done. We need to create this new and revolutionize how we have been building, because this is not going to work for us and the future generations.
Thank you.
Okay, if anybody has a question to Masa-san. Otherwise, we would go to the next speaker. Yeah. So we have another speaker from America. He had been no, actually we have first of all a speaker from Germany, Lorenz Granrath. He will speak about a paper which he developed with 3 other researchers about circular cities, the current state about circular cities in Japan.
Okay. Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah. Hello, everybody. My name is Lorenz Granrath. I'm staying in Japan since 24 years and would like to talk today a little bit about some concepts for circular cities and just start with the first with the first slide. So actually, this 4 people actually developed some concepts. So we published 3 papers about that, looking at circular cities in Japan and trying to find out what could be improved. So Manuel Herrador, Will de Jong, and Kiyokazu Nasu. So he is Japanese. He is Dutch, I think. Will is maybe, and Manuel is Spanish. So they stay in Europe, but Kiyokazu is here in Japan. So I came here 2001 and set up the office of Fraunhofer. So Fraunhofer is a big German research organization now with 30,000 people. And the special thing is we do applied research. So we develop something that is used, that is applied. And when I came in 2001, actually, many companies came to Germany to research into recycling. So when I came here, the concept of my office was actually product cycles. So looking into the whole circular economy, actually. And the first exhibition was Waste Tech, so Waste and Recycling Technology Expo, and so on. But then I found out actually, so at the first conference I did with Tokyo University, it was called Product Cycles, and then, yeah, I found out actually nobody is really interested in. So the companies were not interested in. So I went to other topics, technology, microelectronics, and IT and everything. But still, I always kept some interest for environment. So we had a building insulation workshops in all over Japan, and finally, you see the German-Japanese Solar Day in 2010. I organized this with 250 participants and ministries involved on both sides, and so on. So that was quite a big task. So then 2014, I moved to AIST, Japanese National Institute, and they also had a renewable energy institute in Fukushima. And I also represented some companies. Sunfire, for example, is a maker of electrolyzers to make hydrogen from renewable energy. But after 2 years, they gave up as Japan wanted to import hydrogen from Australia made from brown coal. So Sunfire said, sorry, but it doesn't make sense. In the meantime, I think things are changing, and also the idea here changed a little bit, and green hydrogen might be coming. And finally, since end of last year, I'm again back to Fraunhofer a little bit. It's actually digitalization of production. So we work, I look for big companies like Toshiba, Panasonic, and so on. It's a group. There's some echo, I think. Yeah, anyway, but even this group is located in Aachen. Aachen is the technology hub for production, and I copied this picture here from the homepage. Even in a classical production technology institute, the environment is a big topic now. They also have a department looking into environment. So maybe the introduction was a bit long, but anyway. So Japan has many environmental issues. So limited land area, waste generation, still incineration of waste is a big topic, and natural disasters, aging society. So why is actually a circular economy important? So it decouples actually in economic growth from resource consumption, reduces waste and improves recycling rates, and security, resource security is enhanced, and sustainable development. And the very interesting thing is actually in the was circular. So at that time, okay. So at that time, actually, people just used local products. They used local food and energy, and also they didn't have electric light. So when it's dark and when the candle is gone, then you can't read a book or so. So you have to adapt to the existing topics. And I think that's what we also have to realize again. If we want to be more ecological, we have to scale down a little bit and not try to have everything anytime and everywhere and so on. So I think that's a good topic to think about the past. So why circular cities are better than actually circular economy? Because it's on the city level. So, and cities, as we heard before, I think Christian was showing that we have moved towards cities. Cities are getting bigger and more important, and we have to see that actually there we start there, and we engage stakeholders and address the problems actually on the local level. So we set up circular cities definition for Japan, also looking at traditional values. So one is this Satoyama, I think. It was a project done with United Nations University. So Sato is village, Yama is mountain. So actually it's how cities and nature go hand in hand. And the second is, of course, mottainai. So don't waste anything. And if you look at also the older time, if they caught a fish, they used every part of the fish, you know, the bones, the skin, everything. And I think that's also something which is lost a little bit in our waste-producing society. So anyway, so the idea is involvement of policymakers, local governments, civil society to actually close material loops, decrease resource consumption and waste creation, and establish a regenerative society. So this is the idea. And these were the case studies we looked at. So Kamikatsu is a small city in the south. So they have a zero waste declaration and 45 waste separation categories. So it's also a big burden actually for the people. But they try to make a rural circular economy model. Then we have Osaki we looked at, so they have very high recycling rates. It's a little bit less small than Kamikatsu. And yeah, they also tried a lot of things. And number 3 is Kitakyushu. So actually, when I started Fraunhofer, I had a booth at this Waste Tech in 2000, and we had a German delegation there. And actually, we traveled to Kitakyushu and looked at some new recycling facilities. And that was quite interesting. The city in 2000 was already trying to do new things, so recycling of cars and especially air conditioners and such kind of things. So it was kind of interesting. So I was in Kitakyushu a long time ago. And personally, I also was in Ida City, so I knew the mayor. He stayed in Germany quite a long time, but it's already 7-8 years ago, and they were already doing quite a lot of things to get more environmentally friendly. So we grouped this. Actually, there are 2 criteria. So one on the left side, you see the arrow pointing up. It's size and industrialization. So from Kamikatsu high to Kitakyushu, and on the other side, actually, the burden for the citizens is getting more in the local places, because in a city everything is organized and you don't have to separate the waste. And also in Kamikatsu, of course, the budget depended a lot on local donations, and so yeah, that's actually the idea. So we thought about a new concept of circular cities declaration, which doesn't exist in Japan. So we took the EU circular cities declaration and tried to early adapt or have some ideas about to transfer this to Japan. So we took this EU model. So there are these 87 cities in Europe. And then we consider Japan's unique environmental, cultural, and socio-economic context, and try to work on a new declaration, which we want to call Circular City Declaration Japan. And yeah, so some ideas we have is, of course, to have a steering group. We have the stakeholders, so the cities have to engage. We have a project manager, and we will do a lot about dissemination and communication. But the special thing is actually we want to establish annual KPIs for the city. So some key performance indicators that actually they can show, and they have some incentive to get better in all the things they should do. So this currently actually METI, so the industry ministry, they established circular economy activity. They have some funding for that. Cities can apply. I heard it's finished now, so no new city can get in. But actually, it would be very interesting to coordinate their activity with the CCD Japan. So, for example, integration of the framework, then data and scaling is a topic, but also cultural leverage and the global leadership. So I have to finish. So this is almost the last slide. So actually, Kiyokazu has his own company, which could help us to realize such a thing in Japan. And the conclusion is circular cities are a vital step towards an optimal and holistic circular economy. Given the success of the EU CCD, actually, we want to enhance this further with Circular Cities Declaration Japan. So the next steps could be to combine this EU with the Japan situation and actually establish Japan's Circular Cities Network with potential integration into METI's initiative. So thank you very much. These are the papers we have written so far, and I think the presentation can be received through Christian. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, great. All right, so yes, I'm the Chief Energy and Sustainability Officer for Urbinano. I know I have 10 minutes. I am going to take you on a very deep dive into the technicalities of a green hydrogen facility that we're designing, and I'll try to do that very quickly. I think it's also important to note that our firm is a global firm of very talented millennials, I'll tell you some projects that are underway right now. We're doing a triple net zero eco resort on Mykonos, where we have designed the first net zero data center on the planet, and that is in Helsinki, Finland. And we are also smart city master planners in Central America right now. Our definition of smart city master planning is socially, environmentally, and fiscally responsible cities. It's not all about technology. So this project, which is quite exciting for us because it's the largest green hydrogen plant in the world, and we have just been awarded a second one by the same client. So why is it unusual? It is unusual because we're using a high temperature gasification process rather than traditional electrolysis. And why are we doing that? Traditional electrolysis converts electricity to hydrogen at about a 60 to 80% efficiency rate, losing much of the heat. But our process is non-electrolysis, and it's plasma-enhanced gasification using waste biomass. And I just was introduced to another organization here in Japan who is doing something similar. So it's an exothermic reaction where instead of managing, as most of them do, energy loss, we're managing surplus heat. I'm going to show you a series of inspiring images. It's redistributed through a district heating loop, which is something very different. So instead of an isolated energy production, it's what we call urban resource symbiosis. And that is something that's very different than what has ever happened before when it comes to green hydrogen. So another insight came from water management. Our process uses a non-potable water, recycled water, and we use that turn it into gray water systems. So the fuel cell byproducts of that become a closed loop water node, which again is different from any other green hydrogen plant. I would say the most profound lesson that we learned designing that building was conceptual rather than technical. Hydrogen isn't just a fuel. We use it as a design medium. So it's visual, spatial, and also experiential when we think about the design of a city. So that leads me into the next topic, which is microgrids. Microgrids are becoming very, very important because, for example, across America, we have the West Coast grid. Texas has their own electricity grid, and then there's the East Coast grid. And as we move to mass electrification, how are we ever going to manage that? And microgrids are the answer. So what batteries do for hours, hydrogen can do for seasons. And that's where hydrogen comes in when it comes to microgrids. So energy resilience we're finding it used now both at local and regional levels. And globally, this trend is also underway here in Japan. The town of Nami, once devastated by Fukushima, now operates as a community-scale hydrogen microgrid powered by local renewables. It's restored not only energy independence, but also civic confidence. South Australia has a place called the Hydrogen Park using green hydrogen. From an architectural standpoint, this means integrating new typologies into the urban landscape. So electrolysis hubs near solar fields, hydrogen corridors below our city streets, quiet neighborhood scaled fuel cells that are replacing diesel energy generators. So if we imagine a transit station powered by hydrogen via on-site solar canopies, fueling buses, lighting plazas. This is what we call cross-sector design, where mobility, energy, and architecture converge. So smart city master planning meets green hydrogen. This is what we're doing in Central America. We can create distributed local power ecosystems. This is a huge implication for smart cities, particularly those looking to decarbonize critical infrastructure. So we design data centers, we design medical facilities, we design transit hubs. They too are systems that tend to fail, but with the use of hydrogen fuel cells, we offer a clean, silent backup. So this kind of world, resilience isn't optional, it's foundational. Hydrogen also balances the grid that I was just discussing. So cities often struggle to manage renewable surpluses like solar and wind. Hydrogen offers a solution to that. Using excess electricity to generate hydrogen, we call that power to gas. For peak demand, we coined the term urban hydrogen buffer, and that crosses that bridge between the microgrid and the existing electrical grid. So again, when we look to who's leading the way in this, it's actually Tokyo. Tokyo uses hydrogen from surplus renewables, power the Olympics. Hydrogen byproducts, heat and water, are also assets, supporting district heating, for example, creating a hybrid of energy, food, and architecture. Hydrogen nodes multiply across cities that we are seeing in Tokyo, distributed power topologies, and they become self-sufficient energy islands. And there are immediate public health benefits to this. We're finding this, we're designing a project called the Campus of Care in the Dominican Republic. And that is incorporating green hydrogen as well. And we call them self-sufficient energy islands. Other places that we should be looking to are Rotterdam, Los Angeles, and we use the term future-proofing to describe what is happening when we're using green hydrogen in this way. So buildings today are wired for hydrogen. They'll become more compliant, valuable, and adaptable as standards shift. So a vision for regenerative cities powered by hydrogen. We're using the word regenerative, I think, tonight, as everyone else is. We call it an energy internet. Air becomes cleaner, water becomes purer, energy becomes local and democratic. Hydrogen-powered water purification systems, hydrogen fuel cell pods, off-grid ecosystems. There's the vision isn't speculative; it's actually happening. Toyota's Woven City project is under construction here in Japan. It's a fully hydrogen-powered prototype. Carbon sequestering, wood architecture, autonomous vehicles, robotic systems, they're all tied to this clean hydrogen infrastructure. So it's not just about energy, it's about reimagining how people will live with technology and nature in balance. In Northern Europe, hydrogen valleys are being produced. The long-term goal here is what we call sector coupling, merging power, mobility, building systems, and industry into one shared infrastructure. Hydrogen acts as the connector, bridging gaps between energy production and end use, allowing cities to behave more like ecological systems. We use the word systemic connectivity. So in such places that I've just described, we call them living cities capable of responding to their environments, the neighbors, and the energy needs. So in conclusion, I will say that the experience of designing a hydrogen facility has transformed how we actually at Urbaniano understand cities. No longer do we see infrastructure as hidden or separate, I think, as we used to. It's now integral, visible, and full of potential. Green hydrogen has taught us to design with a whole system mindset, seeing energy, space, and ecology, not as silos, but as interdependent layers. From New York to here in Tokyo, we're seeing the emergence of a new design vocabulary where architecture, planning, and hydrogen are converging to build cities that are not only sustainable, but again, regenerative. Thank you. Let's build cities that thrive, powered by green hydrogen and boundless imagination.
Thank you. Great. So we have maybe again 2 questions. Anybody a question to circular cities in Japan, the current status, or to green hydrogen? I would have a question in general. Basically, we hear this about green hydrogen projects, and that is something which is coming up. So how can we accelerate actually this kind of transition? And there is different choices in energy and also in renewable energy. How can we make sure that we as humanity choose the right pathway? And I think that green hydrogen is actually one of these right choices, because we have, for the electrolysis, we use green energy, and then there's only the output of water, and it's a closed loop cycle. So how can we make sure that innovation goes into the right direction? You want to address that? Or?
I would. One of the problems with hydrogen, of course, is that it is there's no odor, and it's highly flammable. So the project that I'm describing, the inventor of the project, my client, it is they're using biomass, which is essentially waste. So what kind of waste? Crop waste, for example. This is revolutionary. It's I think it's only I can't name the client. I can't name the location, but it I think that we're going to see it more and more. As I mentioned, I surprisingly just met another organization that is doing the same thing, also based here in Japan. My client is also Japanese. And I think that the idea that safety, of course, is critical to all of this. And they have found a way to ensure that safety, which means that we can have green hydrogen corridors under the city now without fear of danger or explosions.
Great. Yeah, it would be fantastic if we can build out this green hydrogen infrastructure more and more, and also that this would infuse a lot of different types of innovation, because hydrogen is not always made with the same electrolyzer, not always made with the same fuel cell. So we had actually nominated one company for the Earthshot Prize, which won the Earthshot Prize in the first year, which was a German company called Enapter. And they make this AEM electrolyzer, and they won because they aimed to scale these electrolyzers for mass production. And I think we come to mobility, we come to other energy transition topics now with Kurata-san, actually. GPSS is our sponsor tonight, and I give him the word. He is very successful with energy transition in the rural areas as well. He has a stakeholder concept, and he has already been with us last year in Okinawa. So Kurata-san, let us have a glimpse into your work with renewable energy. Thank you so much.
Hi, good evening. My name is Takahiro Kurata, and then thanks for giving me the opportunity to speak. Let me explain my background a little bit. I learned physics at the college, and I became a trader, and then worked 20 years in the one investment bank and one hedge fund. And then I formed my own company, and then I'm doing sustainability. I'm in the sustainability industry right now. And then this is GPSS. GPSS formed, back in 2012, and then we have 280 people at this moment. And this is our pipeline project. And we have quite many partners in group. And then this is our mission, transforming an unsustainable society to sustainability. So unsustainable is a point. Then for me, sustainability is not about the environment issue. Sustainability is vital where peace and order are unsustained. This is it. So for me, sustainability is more about survival. So I want to focus on the village, and then metaphysical discussions, and then self-sustained model we have. Village focus. This summit is city summit, but unfortunately I talk about the village, rural village today. Why? Because, in every aspect, village is not unsustainable, not sustainable. And this is metaphysical discussions. This is very crucial because, village won't listen, like logic or economics or environmental issues or, ethnics alone. So, to motivate, those villages, dying villages, we need a, metaphysical approach. So first we form a, lot of discussion in the metaphysical area. Then we transform, we map them onto physical discussions. Because to do the project, to do the business, we have to make them all physical. So this is our those process. Self-sustainability. This is one of our, quite unique figure. Getting on the same boat. This is very interesting logic. In a normal project, I think a developer or operator try to get approval or permission from villages. But for long-term projects, I don't think it's work. We invite village into our boat. We getting on the same boat for years and years. This is our way. So to do that, we exchange each expertise, and they shake hands. This is completely no conflict of interest. Plus, if we can align our goal exactly same, if village make effort, the both over GPSS, move forward. Then if GPSS make a very hard effort to make money back, that's good for village at the same time. So this is a interesting figure of this model. And then why sustainable? Why renewables? Because Japan doesn't have any sort of energy, unfortunately, mineral resource, or no oils, no gas, unfortunately. But renewable energy is everywhere, especially in the rural villages. They have tons of unused resources. So and GPSs offer so many choices because energy potential is really up to the location. So we do solar, onshore wind, geothermal, hydro, and biogas, and the grid battery, the methanation, and the waste heat. We do everything. So if village comes in, and then if we can check their potential, then we pick right energy. And this is a chart for the hands-off process. In the normal sense, sustainability projects is very difficult to hands-off because it's very difficult to manage. But renewable energy projects is very easy because it's project financed. So after the operation, after starting power generation, we can outsource all the project management to the asset management company. So, then we can completely hands off. Village can go back to their own business. Then we can, go on to the next project. And this is a scheme for, keeping the project sustainable. And we introduced, bankruptcy remoteness model to avoid future financial risks. So, under this scheme, villages are safe, even the project fail. They have no risk. And then outcomes, village gets survival and the sustainability. The GPSs get, a mission, realizing mission, and then more energy asset. And then society get, self-sufficient rate because Japan has a very low energy self-sufficient rate. But, because we can delivering so many, we can deliver so many energy projects, we can push up self-sufficiency rate. This is the example, one of the wind project in Kyushu. And, blue one is a group of villages. And then red one is another group of villages. And then yellow sign is a windmill. We have total 14 windmills on this project. And then total 20 villages, and then almost like 1,000 people, 1,000 residents get together and forming a project. And this is your example, one of the example of our geothermal project in Niigata Prefecture. We forming joint venture project with the Onsen Association out there. They created GPS's character for us. Yeah. This is a hydro project in Gunma Prefecture. We are forming a joint venture project with the local people. Yeah, we luckily, getting more pipelines. And because of, so many objections were registered from local communities these days, but we don't have any issues, luckily. So we are growing. And then this is the last point I want to talk about. Yeah, currently we are helping, and we are trying to help local rural villages, but that will help cities in the future because our self-sufficient rate of essential goods are very low, except the water. Food, it says 38, but I think reality is very close to 20%. Energy, almost 10%. So like cities know those important goods. So if villages are sustainable, they will help cities when the crisis happen in the future. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I'm actually wondering, with all the challenges here in Japan, declining population and dying villages, basically, that you are doing all this work in these villages, that this kind of energy transformation, if you are successful in, for example, I have heard that geothermal projects with onsen communities are very difficult, actually, because they don't want you to get involved with the onsen water, but you have done these projects also successfully, and I was wondering how this has positive influence also to these communities, so that there is more vitality then and more life coming back to these communities. Maybe Kurata-san, can you comment on this?
Community or villages we focus is already dying, So if we don't touch or stay away, they are, just matter of time to go. So in the case of, geothermal in Niigata area, I think they are resisting very hard to introduce geothermal at their place. But, we, introduce our model, why don't you come over and join the project? Not just, approving our project, instead of approving our project. Then, they were kind of surprised. They operate geothermal project by themselves. In the normal sense, they cannot because they don't have any experience. Geothermal business is very difficult. They have to, get around me with borehole. Borehole is very, difficult to handle, and then plus so many technology involved for the power generation. But because they are with us, we are, focusing geothermal or those type of many type of renewables every day. So if they are with us, they have no issues. So that's why, this project was successful. And then they got some prize from Ministry of Environment because of this. And then I think their business is now very growing rapid pace. That's what I heard. Yeah.
That's great. Thank you so much. So yeah, we are a little bit over time, and we want to come to the startup pitches. We have actually not 4, but 5 startups, and each of the startups has 5 minutes. And originally we wanted to have a feedback session after all the 5 pitches, and I asked Michael to come up to the front here so that we can actually do the feedback after each of the pitches. and ask only one concise question. So the first startup is UN, which is very interesting, and I just discovered them at Sushi Tech Tokyo. They produce a software system for whole cities, actually. And we are happy to have the co-founder and CTO, Matthias, here, and he will take the floor now. So come here and...
Yeah, thank you very much. As Christian just mentioned, we were invited very last minute to this event. Christian meant Arno Schlüter, the professor of the Architecture and Building Chair at ETH in Switzerland, at the event. And this chair is also where we have our origins with the open source software that we've developed and we're now taking to market. So it's a city energy analyst. And let me state the challenge first that we're trying to address with this software. I think I'm preaching to the choir here a little bit, but we need to accelerate our efforts if we want to reach the climate goals, the decarbonization goals specifically, that many cities and countries pledge to. In the city specifically, we as a company see three big hurdles in that context that are slowing down progress. So the first is that the building sector is just very complex. So the second reason, that automatically means there's a lot of different stakeholders involved that might not all necessarily speak the same language in terms of technical terms. And thirdly, norms and regulations can only address specific change or specificities within individual districts in a limited capacity. So two ways that we're trying to improve this with our software is by allowing designers and engineers to come together and speak the same language. So our software offers a very simple, intuitive visual interface, but backed up with a lot of data. And secondly, we try to offer actionable insights that both engineers and designers can act on. So what's it that we actually do with the City Energy Analyst? So as the software says, we analyze energy within a city. So that goes from solar radiation to building energy demand to the integration of networks, all in the effort to minimize cost and reduce emissions in the districts that our users analyze. The software is available on Windows, Mac, and now, since very recently, on cloud. And for the designers here, you'll certainly recognize the logos. We have app plugins for Rhino and Grasshopper. As I mentioned, the core of the software is open source. We've been developing this in research for a long time. We have a lot of users, used in over 70 countries across the world. Now the big step that we're doing with the company, UEN, is bringing this to the commercial application. So, and the main way we're trying to do this, and that was our target here in Japan as well, is by finding collaborations with big developers and finding out what it takes for them to start adopting the software and essentially deliver bespoke developments for them. The launch of CEA 4 was in April of this year. That's where we launched the cloud platform, and we'll go on to integrate an AI assistant that makes it even easier for users of different backgrounds to use the software. Yeah, this is our team. These are the countries where we've been downloaded. And there's a few companies as well that have used the software. Yeah, that's it from me. Thank you very much.
Faster than 5 minutes.
Oh, perfect. Catching up on time. So the city energy analyst, as I said, has been developed in research mostly over the past 12 years now. That development is open source. It's under an MIT open source license. It's being primarily used by academics at the moment, so in teaching or in research. We're trying to build on top of that. So yes, the freemium will remain there in a certain sense. The software, the open software, will always be downloadable for everybody. The features that we're providing on top, though, they will be the sole contribution of the company, and that's what we're trying to monetize.
Cool. Okay. I noticed, so I used to, there's a couple of logos there because I studied at UCL and also worked at Arab, so like,
oh, nice.
like, you know, I saw a lot of familiar logos there, so it was like very nice to see that. Cool. Okay.
Yeah, it's being used in teaching at UCL, and Arab is one of our larger downloaders in terms of companies. Yeah.
Nice. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, then we come to the next two startups, which are both in the area of mobility. Shuji Shiraki is here. We just met, but we met maybe a year ago. And now you're here with Emotion Fleet, a mobility solution. So please come up.
5 minutes. Okay, thank you for having me, Christian. My name is Shuji Shiraki, just checking. Here we go. My name is Shuji Shiraki, the founder of Emotion Fleet. We are also having a booth at Sushi Tech, so if any of you are coming tomorrow, please visit our booth. What we basically do is we accelerate the fleet electrification in Asia. A little bit about us. We were founded in 2023 September, but before actually founding the company, we were involved in the electrification of DHL group in Germany for the Deutsche Post, 20,000 units plus. We were also involved in Yamato's fleet electrification 500 units in Japan. Through these two experiences, we really went through the pain of birth of electrifying fleet at scale. You really need to have vehicle, charging, and the system basically working as a system. We really thought that this is going to be a challenge for many fleet operators in Japan and Asia, still in the early phase of electrification, so we decided to go independent. We also got the initial funding from Shizen Energy, focusing on the renewables. We're also basically going everywhere. Sushi Tech, we also recently won the Forbes Rising Star Grand Prix Award. We're also trying to go to Thailand, Southeast Asia, so we're basically trying to go global. What we're trying to solve, the market here is, as you know, 70% of the CO2 emission coming from the commercial vehicles, but you see the big fleets now transitioning to electric, and therefore the B2B side of EV market is continuing to grow. However, if you talk with the fleet operators, they do not know how to go electric. They know they need to go carbon neutral, but they got more imminent issues around the driver shortage. They also do not know, they cannot think in kilowatt hours. They can think in kilometers, kilograms, but not in kilowatt hours, and they think the cost is going to go up. And if you also look at the market of the fleet operators, 98% small to mid-sized enterprises, they don't really think about carbon neutral. What they care is economics. So that's what we're basically trying to resolve. So our customers are fleet operators, logistic bus, taxi, corporates, airports, and seaports. And what we basically do is do the entire customer journey from the planning to the charging infra. And we also have our system to basically manage the uptime of the fleets and also do the energy management. Just showing you a video of how we actually support the customers. We go into the depots. We basically look at how the fleet is basically running, and we basically build a bottom-up simulation of what if you go electric. In terms of the hardware, we are basically brand agnostic. So we work with different OEMs, different charging providers. We also always go to the depot to see, at which location we should basically install what kind of chargers to minimize the capex. We also go to the shop floor to train basically the fleet operators and the drivers. What is the difference of operating a diesel and electric vehicle fleet? We have a telematics that we install in the vehicles to basically monitor the uptime of the vehicles. It's all about uptime. You can never stop the vehicles running. And we also, through our telematics, we measure not only the GPS data, but also the state of charge, the battery health, what is the energy efficiency of these vehicles. We also do the energy management so that even if you charge multiple vehicles, you avoid the peak. And we also try to go carbon neutral by basically generating green energy to power the electric vehicles. So what we do is we combine hardware, service, software, and we support through the planning, deployment, and the operation of the electric vehicles. How we monetize is on the planning and the deployment. It's more consulting project fee per depot. For the operation side, it's more the monthly fleet as a service fee per unit. And I think the key in this business model is this EV fleet as a service, where we basically try to combine hardware, services, digital, and energy in one commercial offer. We offer as a monthly service to the customers so that the customers can focus on what they are good at, which is carrying people and goods. And also zero capex, lowest opex. We also build our own software that basically integrates fleet management and energy management into one single dashboard. And this is what we're basically offering to the fleets right now. However, if you look at EVs, they're still early phase. So we also support the customers in the pre-EV stage by basically installing our telematics. Before you decarbonize, let's low carbonize by basically trying to reduce the fuel efficiencies. Through that, we collect the data and we support the customers basically design the simulation. And as the customers scale the EVs, then we go more into our fleet and energy management and fleet as a service business model. All of this, what we're doing is to reduce the total cost of ownership. It needs to be economics. It needs to be economics. And then comes that CO2. We currently are talking with about 300 or close to 300 prospects currently, more in the logistics, bus taxi, municipalities, airports, seaports. We also do a lot of partnership with OEMs leasing energy, and we also are basically going also Southeast Asia. These are some of the customer examples in the logistics, energy, municipalities, some of the leasing banks. We also talk a lot with the associations that are also trying to decarbonize. We have a dream team of basically fleet electrification professionals. We're currently closing our Series A round, and our target is basically to become the Asia's leading EV fleet solution provider. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you. I feel bad it's just me, but Shirek-san, great to see you again, by the way.
Good to see you.
And great presentation as well. And I love the sort of very comprehensive offering that you have. I think when you have like EV charging, like one of the challenges often is the power consumption. And maybe this is maybe less relevant since it's fleet scale. But like if you're doing like ultra fast charge or something, you could be talking like tens, hundreds of kilowatts.
Yeah.
And then you tend to need to have like upgrades of the tie into the grid system as well.
Yes.
And I think in this case, because you're also talking about putting in renewables and maybe battery systems as well, you can maybe somewhat offset that, but I'd be kind of curious to hear about your thoughts about like, are there any challenges there? Like particularly with Japan, I feel like that might be a bit of a constraint as well. So we'd love to hear your thoughts and opinions there.
So our customers are B2B fleets, so typically we do the depot charging. So in one depot, we try to install as AC chargers as possible, slow chargers. You know, in B2B, you need to think slow charging, and you have overnight to basically charge. So you slow charge and you levelize. But even if you go up to, let's say, a lot of fleets in one depot, you start to consume a lot of energy. And that's where solar panels and energy storage comes into play. To basically store the energy, you lessen the dependency on the grid. In Japan, you don't hear so much about the grid congestion yet, as we hear in Europe, but it will come. It will come. And that's why the reason why we are partnering with a renewable energy company is so that we can basically offer the mobility side of the, let's say, competencies, and the renewable energy company can basically focus more on the solar panels, energy storage, and the PPP side of things. Yeah. So this is where I think the roadmap is where it's going to go. The market in Japan is still in the early phase, but through the experience with the DHLs and what they're doing in Europe, we know that that's the way that it's going to go. And that's why we're also focusing on Japan and Asia. It's still premature, but it also means a lot of opportunities for us.
Great, thank you. That was a fantastic presentation, and it's one of the examples of a really go global startup in Japan. And I think we have been talking about this 2 days ago, actually, that how the venture capital system here in Japan is evolving, and that there's a positive trend now. More foreign investors coming also into Japan. More people set up funds which invest also in Japanese startups. But if people from outside come, they want really these kind of global-minded people, and Shuji is truly one of these people. So thanks very much for joining today. Now we have one a startup from Sweden, actually, Karin Ebbinghaus. She is also one of our Earthshot Prize nominees. She is on Zoom, and I think we try to get it fixed technically. That Karin, can you hear us? Not yet. Not yet. Okay, we have to wait. But her startup is called Elon Road, and Elon Road doesn't have to do anything with Elon Musk. It's just electricity on. It's electricity on. So if you imagine a road and you drive over this road, you have these conducive things which actually pick up the electricity from the road. Okay, we have you on the screen now, and you
Perfect.
have 5 minutes.
Yes.
Very nice seeing you. Not in person, but at least you're with us here.
Yes, and thank you so much for having me online. Very happy to be here. My name is Karen. I'm from Elon Road, and we have nothing to do with Elon Musk. So that's my first disclaimer. The Swedish word for electricity is el, so in short. So we are what we call electricity on road, and we want to make sure that those commercial fleets are rolling 24/7. And for us, we're combining two mega trends, both electrification and actually urbanization. And previously, all the logistics centers were in the outskirts of cities. But now, when everything have moved in, logistic needs to go electric and emission-free to have clear air and clear noise. But going electric has its downturns. So it adds downtime, as the previous speaker was talking about. And then costly infrastructure to have these big mega devices requires a lot more space. So for us, how do we scale electrification as quick and resource efficient as possible? And that's why we have developed a new way of transferring energy. And our ambition is to have a solid business case, not only a climate case. And we can show with our solution, going electric will be cheaper than diesel. So there's no excuse or delay of why not going fossil free immediately. So our thesis is that if we can bring the energy where vehicles spend time anyway, then we can really make this a solid business case, as I said. So reversing the logic, when we had the combustion engine, we were forced to go to charge to gas stations to refill. But electrons, they don't weigh anything, so we can transfer them in a much different way than we can. And you know, Spotify is another Swedish company. So if we can stream music, we can stream energy. So we transfer energy while you are moving. Also when you stand still, but mainly while you are moving. We can charge up to 350 kilowatts on the go by activating short segments of power exactly underneath the vehicle. We transfer the energy, and you don't have to be super straight. As long as you put your tires on one side of these charging rails that we integrate into the road, we can actually transfer energy automatically. And the benefit is that you don't have to have any redundancy vehicles. If you have a yard and you have 150 terminal tractors moving containers and you operate them 24/7, without our solution, you would need to have probably 20 to 30% extra vehicles rotating in and out for charging, and you need to go for the biggest battery pack. So actually our solution brings down the capex investment. As I said, less downtime, smaller batteries, save space. So if you have a big yard with containers or others, taking space for chargers will actually remove from your core business. So all in all, both capex and opex, we can make up to a 40% saving on that. And we have some big players on our pipeline. So we are implementing this in Sweden, but also in Long Beach in California. We will soon be in Singapore. We have a lovely partner in Japan called Aishin. I hope I pronounced it correctly, with helping us to develop the technology. So about 7 million euros in orders. And that's why we're raising a pre-series A of 4 million euros with an experienced team of industrialized people who can take this from an idea into a global company. So please talk to us if you're interested in learning more.
That was perfect. Exactly 5 minutes. Thank you so much. And you're coming to Japan soon, right?
Yes, actually, next week I will be in Osaka for the World Expo, for the Swedish or the Nordic Day. And then actually next Friday I will be in Tokyo if anyone wants to meet me.
Yeah, I will meet you then. Great. And maybe in order to take the pressure from Michael, I want to ask you only a very quick question. Is there anything comparable worldwide, what you are doing? Do you have competitors?
We do conductive charging. So there is actually a physical connection between the vehicle and the rail once it's charging. But there are other wireless solutions. And we choose this conductive technology because we want to transfer high power with high efficiency. So as I said, we can transfer up to 350 kilowatts while driving any speed with 97% efficiency. So basically no energy losses.
And the other question, because you're coming to Japan, what are you doing with your Japanese partner, if you can speak about it?
Yes, so I mean, we are expert in transferring the energy in short segments, and they are experts in vehicles and potentially receiving the energy. So they are actually developing a system of the energy collector and the software interface to get the energy into the vehicle.
Is there a possibility to also do a POC in Japan?
We would love to.
Great. So that's the kind of collaboration we want. The one thing is from Japan to the world, and the other thing from outside Japan into Japan. So that would be fantastic if we can realize something. And that's coming back to our initial thing, that scaling innovation, how to scale innovation and how to bridge countries and so on. Good. So we have, thank you, Karin, and see you soon in Japan. Have a safe trip.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Now we have Shivani Satish. She is actually from OIST, from Okinawa Institute of Science and Technology. And she will talk about a very interesting technology, which is a kind of circular economy approach with microalgae, which then is used for making art. Very interesting. Thank you for being here.
Thank you very much, Christian, for having me here. We are a very new startup, so listening to the other startups is very inspiring. What we are trying to do is trying to create a circular economy where we create materials from pollution and not the other way around. And what we want to do is to shape a regenerative future, like what? Okay. Okay. Is it okay? Okay, sorry about that. Yes, we want to shape a regenerative future in materials. We all know that climate change is reshaping our world. We all know the numbers. We have to remove 10 billion tons of CO2 annually by 2050. But what we also want us collectively to think about is, can we reimagine how we live, create, and connect with the planet? In order to do that, we need to redesign the way we produce materials in a way where the more we create, the more carbon we're actually removing and not producing. And in order to achieve that, we have two completely segregated paths right now. One is the efforts focused on carbon removal, and the other is material production. They are slightly dissociated right now because the technology that we need for carbon removal is expensive and energy intensive. And the conversion from the captured CO2 into raw materials also requires more energy and time and costs. However, nature-based solutions are very cheap and very scalable. However, they are slow. So there are trade-offs between engineered tech and nature-based tech. And on the other hand, to produce raw materials, we know we have a lot of emissions being produced. What if there's a way to plug in the raw material sourcing from pollution that's been removed from emissions, and then plugging in the raw material to produce everyday materials that we use. And what we believe is we can achieve that through combining nature and tech using microalgae. And we're trying to use bioreactors that are programmed and controlled with AI to achieve scalable CO2 removal and material production. We're aiming to achieve a 200-time faster rate compared to forests, the amount of CO2 that we remove. And we're trying to make it 8 times cheaper than engineered solutions and to achieve a higher biomass than agriculture, for example. This is our general pipeline for the first path that we're trying to achieve. We're trying to build a microalgae bioreactor where we have 2 important sources of emissions from highly emitting industries, specifically CO2 and wastewater. And what we would tailor is light and nutrient. And what we would use AI for is to tailor the delivery of light and nutrients to produce pigments and sugars, typically to start with. Pigments, why? To create inks for art. And sugars, why? To produce ethanol. And why do we need ethanol? Is to extract pigments from the microalgae. So this is the first kind of POC that we want to show where we can create a completely circular loop of production. And with the rest leftover debris, we can also create biochar so that the carbon is locked forever and generate carbon credits in parallel. And everybody asks, why art? Today, James asked me after our meditation session, what do you want to do? I said, I want to make people happy. And I think happy people are mindful. That's why we're starting with art. And hopefully, the more we create, the more we remove, the more we inspire. We started off with chlorella, and we started in March. So we're 2 months old, very new. Yes. Thank you. We're hoping to get a lot of skills and important advice that we need from accelerator programs. So this is great. And we also produced our initial ink, which I have some today, if you want to take a look. We also started testing inks with users to get some feedback. And now we're trying to get all of the data that we have, the actual photoreactor system. Our team is very small. We're still growing, and we're all based in Okinawa. And if anybody knows any AI specialist, please send them over to me. And that's it. Thank you so much, and happy to answer questions.
That's great. So we can see that innovation also can sometimes be deeply scientific and not so easy to understand from people who don't understand it, but that's why we have experts to go deeper into this. And an accelerator program is, of course, also good for helping young startups like this to connect them with the outside world and test and prove also what you're doing. So fantastic. Michael, would you like to have a comment on this?
Thank you very much for the presentation. Second time this week I saw your presentation, so I love the pitch and I love the concept as well.
The same pitch. Yes.
I think you had a slide about talking about like the future sort of not projection, but like your roadmap, and then you talked a bit about doing point source capture as well.
Yeah.
I'm really interested to understand like what sort of facilities are you looking at, and I think you 2 to 10%. So not too high concentration, but high in atmosphere. And with point source, you often have impurities as well, like sort of it could be SOXs, NOXs, and obviously typically it's treated if it's in Japan or other places. But we'd love to hear like your thoughts about that, and whether that has an impact on the chlorella as well, for example.
That's a great question. So the first part of your question for the initial pilots that we are looking at is fermentation industries in Okinawa. Because they produce primarily CO2 and a lot of wastewater. So that would be our first test, because we need to test small. And then in the larger perspective, we also talk to Honda and other car manufacturing companies, and they said we're too early, so we need a little bit more data. But they were interested in testing out the point source. In that sense, we have other gases, and the great thing about chlorella and another species we're testing is nitrogen is actually a fertilizer. So it helps it grow faster. It's just the way that we deliver the nitrous oxide and nitrogen dioxide into the culture system is something we need to control and test before we use. Sulfur dioxide, it's not, so we have to filter it out. So that's something to consider as well. Yeah. Thank you.
What did you take your PhD in?
So I did my PhD in chemical engineering and bachelor's in genetics. So it's
Great.
biotech and chemical engineering.
And it's also an example how you can utilize AI for applying this to this topic is direct air capture. Now we stay in this topic of decarbonization, and we have Watanabe Kei-san here from Green AI, and there are a lot of companies which look into carbon accounting. So they measure the emissions and take data, but there are not so many companies which actually make strategic execution and implementation advice, and this is the gap which Green AI is coming to. So, Kei-san, you are the last for today, hopefully not the least, but thanks for being here. The floor is yours.
Good evening. Thanks for the introduction, and thank you for giving me the opportunity for the presentation. My name is Kei Watanabe. I'm the CEO of Green AI. We are a Japanese company based in Tokyo and founded 2 years ago in 2023. We have developed and providing the automated decarbonization planning SaaS platform to the companies for actually all industries. So let me introduce our activities. Here are the key steps for the decarbonization for the companies, which is measurement, planning, implementation, and offsetting. Actually, there are plenty of service providers for all steps except for planning. So that's why we have decided to develop our own product, Green AI. This is an overview of the Green AI platform. When users input the data, the algorithms picks up the decarbonization measures from our database, and then offers the cost-effective, tailored decarbonization roadmap to the users. I'm going to show a very quick demo video of our product, Green AI. Users input the GHG emissions by fuel and power, breakdown by equipment, set a reduction target, and then the calculation starts. The output includes long list of measures, cost savings per measure, payback period, GHG reduction, abatement cost curve, economic feasibility map, and detailed data for each measure. This is an output example, which is abatement cost curve. So yeah, when users, we can offer the most economically viable decarbonization plan for the reduction targets, so that users, companies can achieve both CO2 reduction and cost savings at the same time. What we can provide to our clients: first, reducing planning time to less than 1 hour. Second, reducing planning cost by 97% or more compared to the consulting firms. Third, reducing utility cost for around 23% or more compared to the original cost. Why we can develop such things? We have really put focused on the research for more than 20,000 hours to develop our original database for more than 5,000 decarbonization measures. And also our algorithm is already patented in Japan. We have just released our service commercially in December last year. But after that, several medias featured on us, and also we've been already awarded by Ministry of the Environment in Japan. These are some tractions. We've got more than 300 inbound inquiries, and also we have already signed more than 10 partnership agreements in Japan. So we are distributing our service through our partner to end users. But not only in Japan, domestic market, but we think we have a very huge opportunity globally. This chart is from World Bank, actually. World Bank expects that in 2030, the carbon tax will be higher than 61 US dollar per ton CO2, which means the pressure for decarbonization is getting higher and higher, which will be our big opportunity for our business. So we started from the decarbonization planning for domestic customers, but we have already started to develop for the vendor matching system and marketing for global market. So we are aiming to achieve $400 million sales within 5 years. So I think it's time. So yeah, thank you very much. GreenAI is poised to lead the next phase of global decarbonization.
That was great. Thank you so much. And yeah, so if companies want to apply measures and tools, they can use their software, and then the other people who are innovating on these different tools, they can register with their database. So that has tremendous potential, I think. And maybe, Michael, you want to have one last comment? Do you know the GreenAI already?
No. Yeah, no. Thank you for asking, though. But Watanabe-san, thank you for the presentation. Very interesting stuff. Just one question, I guess, from my side is, obviously, when you take any particular company, there's lots of different variables, like starting from your retail electricity supplier to it could be different sort of components you're using, different cars you're using, how much travel is involved. And then obviously, like, putting all of that data in is quite time consuming as well. Like how much is customizable in that sense? And also, like, do you also plug into maybe, let's say, like an ERP system or something like that to pull some of this data? I'm just kind of curious, like how it works behind the scenes, like how your algorithm works behind the scenes in that sense.
Sorry, could you say the last part again?
Oh, so like for each company, there'll be lots of different things, the different variables, whether it's electricity supplier, different machines, it could be different HVAC systems, different cars they use, how much travel they do. And then, there's lots of those sort of things that you need to consider when you're trying to give advice there or to do the planning work. So in that sense, how much is customized in that sense for each customer, like based on those sort of variables? And then do you kind of support that through, let's say, like an ERP system integration, or maybe like a different integration with different systems or different tools? Or I'm just a bit curious about how that works behind the scenes.
Okay, so actually, all industries, all companies can use this system very easily because this system only looks what kind of energy source they use and what kind of facilities they have. So yeah, the company size or which kind of ERP system or something. It's actually not a program. Just they need to input how much CO2 emissions they had for this energy resource, electricity or gas or fuels. Then they just input from CSV and output the planning. So we can co-work with actually each company, any industry companies.
So like when you have like a car or something, then would you be, because one advice might be like, you know, instead of using a petrol car, you could use a electric car, for example. Is that kind of thing that can also be plugged into, or that can also, that kind of advice can also be given, I guess, from Solution?
Yeah, we define the vehicles also one of the facilities, and the energy resource is either gas or electricity. So yeah, we can integrate such vehicles as well as in the system.
Okay, thank you very much.
Very much. Thank you very much.
So this brings us to the end of the first day of the Sustainable Cities Summit. I have a few closing remarks, and we can stay a little bit longer here. A few of us will go for a dinner afterwards. And tomorrow morning we start 9:30, and we have from 9:30 to 12:30. Today we had this journey, connect, scan. We scanned a lot. We went from dream design after we connected to ourselves, after we went deeper and thought about how to be a good ancestor. Then we learned about dream-driven design, daydreaming and innovation and these kind of potentials. We saw the global perspective of real estate development with a beautiful luxury project in Tulum, which also applies mycelium technologies, which is nature positive architecture basically. Then we had a journey into circular cities, the current status of circular cities in Japan. And we went then back to America and had a more global view and we looked at the potential of green hydrogen, powering infrastructure, powering buildings, and also building cities which would work on really renewable energy. And then I hope I might have forgotten something in between, but it's this journey from the city view and the rural areas. This was covered by Kurata-san. In Japan, we have declining population, we have dying villages, but there's a good examples like Kurata-san has created involving the communities in rural villages. And there's a huge potential in Japan that now with all these tourists, we can revitalize these regions, but we also need something more sustainable. And today we had then in the end, really amazing startup pitches, software as a system for looking at the whole city infrastructure and building infrastructure, optimizing it. Then we had mobility, e-motion fleet, and we had Elon Road, which is already collaborating with Japanese company Aishin in Aichi Prefecture. I visited the Toyota booth yesterday at Sushi Tech as well. Yeah, so the world is getting smaller. On the other hand, the world also has a lot of challenges, which we heard also in the beginning. And in this kind of challenging world, it's really important that we bring people together to discuss, to think, to be inspired, and then, of course, to take action. And tomorrow, I hope I see all of you again, 9:30 to 12:30. We will have a different format. We will have more panels, and we go into circular economies. We look into mobility again, software-defined vehicles, and then one very important topic is accessibility, how to make cities more inclusive.
We have Philip from Germany who flew in, Germany and America actually. And then in the end, we want to have a kind of a reflection session as well and get together and think what we can do. This is always, if you participate in all these conferences and get a lot of input, then somehow it can be tiring, I think. But then we have to also find ways to do the output. Yes, with this being said, I'm closing the session for today. And I want to thank the team, Eva, Yuichi, then Masako, and Nayalan on the video. And did I forget anybody? And Ji Ying, yes. She did a lot of promotion actually for the event. Yeah, thank you very much, everybody, and see you tomorrow again. And we can just stay a little bit here and then moving like 7:45. We have to move out. Thank you.